The second meeting in just 3 months. While there is some stability in the eastern DRC, there has been little progress on the region's latest war fronts. With South Sudan peace talks stalling and the Central African Republic plunged into deeper turmoil, analysts say the leaders need to push harder.
We may end up seeing another Rwanda 1994 happening in our midst. We've seen what is happening in the Central African Republic, the butchering of people on a day-to-day basis without the global media and the global diplomatic community paying much attention.
A further complication, South Africa's diplomatic row with Rwanda. It will be the first time Zuma and Paul Kagame meet after kicking out each other's diplomats.
The deterioration of the diplomatic relationship between Pretoria and Kigali is very unhelpful to all the initiatives and efforts that are being made in the Great Lakes region to bring about peace. And I dare say it's also unhelpful for the African Union because you need countries to respect each other's sovereignty.
There are no officially planned meetings between Kigali and Pretoria. Mahlatse, Gallens, SABC News, Luanda, Angola.
Well, our reporter Mahlatse Gallens is in Luanda and she joins us on the line now. Good afternoon, Mahlatse, and thank you for your time on the PM News Desk.
Good afternoon.
Look, Mahlatse, how is the conflict in the Central African Republic being tackled now? A sense of urgency, I imagine, to find solutions, especially in light by the statement by the United Nations top human rights official Navi Pillay this week when she says, I quote, hatred between Christians and Muslims in the CAR reaching a terrifying level. I mean, failing to support this country wholeheartedly now in its time of need, we do risk decades of instability and creating fertile breeding ground for religious extremism, but not just in the Central African Republic, but the wider region as well, Mahlatse.
Of course, there is concern from the leaders here about the situation in the Central African Republic, but it appears at this summit the focus will be much more on the Democratic Republic of Congo. But I will assume that they will talk a little bit about it because remember that the Congo president, Denis Sassou Nguesso, had been tasked with mediating the crisis in that country. And the last we spoke of him, which is just over a month ago, he was saying that the situation in the CAR needs more boots on the ground. We know that there is an effort from the African Union and also a French peacekeeping force that are in the country. But as you mentioned, as Navi Pillay mentioned here, the violence is continuing. And whether there will be more forces sent to that country remains to be seen. But we do know that in any effort or any interaction he has, Mr. President Sassou Nguesso, is try and say to the regional leaders that they need more boots on the ground to be able to safeguard the lives of people there. He is here at this meeting here in Luanda, and we do expect that the will also talk about it, also given that the South African President Jacob Zuma is also here, and he has also been playing a role in trying to find peace for the troubled country.
When it comes to the Eastern DRC, how are we tackling the slow pace of disarmament of the militias there?
The big issue here actually is the FDLR. Remember that they are the mainly Hutu remnants that actually fled Rwanda after the genocide. We just spoke to the defense minister of the DRC, and he's saying, yes, they have defeated the M23. They do have the program of actually integrating them and deciding on their future. But now the summit is also focusing on the FDLR because remember, the FDLR are seen as a threat by Rwanda. Congo also does not want them in their midst because of the role they have played in the violence there. And the question becomes, if the FDLR indeed, as they wrote to the summit saying that they are ready to lay down their arms, what happens to them? Are they supposed to return to Rwanda, or will they be allowed to stay in the Democratic Republic of Congo? And I think that's one of the issues that will dominate the talks here today.
It's also the first time that President Jacob Zuma and Rwanda's Paul Kagame will meet face-to-face since that diplomatic spat. Has that meeting taken place, and how did that interaction play out at all?
There is no officially planned meeting between the two leaders, but during the welcoming, as they all arrived, we saw President Jacob Zuma shaking hands with Paul Kagame, perhaps an indication that maybe there would be future talks. But we also know that the officials that have been here from both sides have been trying to meet to see if there's any way out of this diplomatic spat that we are seeing. And of course, there is concern from some of the countries within the region that it might not be healthy in terms of trying to resolve the crises that the region is actually facing. So I think on a lower level, officials or diplomats have been trying to meet, but whether there will be an official meeting between President Kagame and President Zuma, it remains to be seen. But we're also expecting that they are sitting in the same room. There could be that issue can be raised in that meeting, and hopefully we will know when they conclude whether anything tangible has come out of it.
There's SABC's Mahlatse Gallens on the line to us from Luanda. Thank you for your time. Now, consignment of man